All right, so starting this week, we are going to be working on creating our own shapes and designs from those unique shapes. And I'm in Illustrator just because it's easier to demonstrate in here, but the principle is very similar in Photoshop. But if you look at our shape menu here, and I believe in Photoshop it's farther down here, but if you're looking at this, you have rectangles, rounded rectangles, ellipse, polygons. Okay, so there's these guys all over here. At this point in the class, the only ones you can use are going to be rectangle and ellipse. And you'll notice that they are marked with the letters in parentheses with the shortcuts next to them. And it's because those are probably the most commonly used tools or shapes in there. But those are going to be the two that we're going to be working with. Everything else needs to be created with either the pen tool. Let's see, you can use a paintbrush or pencil. You can use pretty much any of these tools in here to create your shapes. Pen tools are kind of weird at first. I mean, you can just click with it and create, polygons that way, and then right-click, join, and then that will give you a nice shape to work with. I've got the stroke on just so we can see, but let's try it without, see what that looks like. There we go. So there's a shape. We could come back in. You'll see how it. Here, I'll put it up there, and maybe you can see where that's at. There's a gap in there, but if I select, right-click it, and join, does it do it? Didn't. There we go. And you can see now that that blue line connects right up in through there. So that's kind of where we're at with our shapes. And then here you can. There's kind of an interesting interaction there. Sure, whatever. That's just clicking with the pen tool. Now, if you're going to use the pen tool and you hold down your mouse while you're dragging your shape, you'll notice that it gives you these handles. You can do some kind of crazy things with that. Then again, join. It's like it doesn't want to. Okay, there we go. I'm just hitting it wrong. There we go. Yeah, just doing it wrong. So there we go. And that's, kind of a nice rounded shape there. In the software, that's selected, or it's the selection tool rather, is sort of the default. But if you come into the direct selection tool, you can come into these here, click on those anchor points, pull them out, get the handles there, move those, right? Move those. Some kind of interesting things that you can do with that. Let's take that. I'll move it to the front and stick that on top. Shrink it down. Stick it over there. So now we're starting to deal with some more unique and interesting shapes that we can work with. Change things around individually. I won't really talk about the layers menu much, but you can use layers in Illustrator. But in Photoshop, these will come in on their own layers, so you sort of have to use the layers, which is good because it helps organize. If you look over here under my layers menu, it already has all the shapes sort of separated out. And if I want, I can move them around that way. Or I can just use keyboard shortcuts, or I can go up to Object, Arrange, and then the Bring to Front, Bring to Back option. So anyway, let's see, what other options do we have here? You can use pen tool like so. I'm going to, see it's got the stroke there. I'm going to turn the stroke off, and I'm going to turn the fill to, let's say, dark gray. Oops, first let me join it. Now I can turn it to dark gray. There we go. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of an interesting shape as well, right? Maybe, I don't know. We can make it work. Let's see, let's try making it bigger. Lower the value even more. And then I want to turn that stroke off again. And there we go. I can even move it to the back if I want. So anyway, there's a lot of advantages to making your own shapes, and that's kind of where we want to start with these, is just using probably the pen tool to start, and then you can use the brush tool as well. The big key in Illustrator is to join your shape at the end so you don't have any open ends. Seems to keep things cleaner. And then from here,